2024 NHL Awards ceremony was supposed to be a night of celebration, a moment to honor the league's top players and personnel. Instead, it quickly turned into an unexpected and dramatic spectacle, centering around a surprising outburst from none other than Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex. The usually composed royal was making a special appearance as a presenter, tasked with announcing the winner of the Hart Memorial Trophy, awarded annually to the league's most valuable player. However, as soon as he stepped up to the microphone, it became clear that something was amiss. "Most of the seats in this arena are empty," Prince Harry began, his voice laden with palpable frustration. "I look out and see rows upon rows of vacant chairs, while the few fans who bothered to show up are shuffling towards the exits." His words hung in the air, casting a shadow over what should have been a celebratory occasion. But Harry was just getting started. The prince's critique was not merely about the empty seats. It was a scathing indictment of the NHL's broader issues. "I know that the NHL has been struggling with declining attendance and viewership in recent years," he continued, his tone growing increasingly pointed. "But to see this kind of disinterest and apathy on a night meant to honor the best of the best is simply unacceptable." As murmurs of confusion and discomfort rippled through the crowd, Harry pressed on, launching into a blistering critique of the league's leadership and the state of the sport. He lambasted the NHL's perceived lack of innovation, its failure to connect with younger fans, and its apparent disregard for the needs and concerns of the players themselves. "These athletes pour their heart and soul into this game, risking their health and well-being night after night," he exclaimed, his voice rising with each word. "And yet the powers that be seem content to simply coast along, satisfied with the status quo and unwilling to make the tough decisions necessary to propel this league into the future." The audience, initially caught off guard by the prince's outburst, now seemed divided. Some nodded in agreement, while others shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Yet Harry showed no signs of relenting, his frustration mounting as he continued to lambast the NHL's leadership. "Look around you," he said, sweeping his arm across the half-empty arena. "This is a testament to the disconnect between the league and its fans, a clear indication that something needs to change. And if the current leadership is unwilling or unable to make those changes, then perhaps it's time for new leadership to step in and take the reins." The audience erupted into a cacophony of shocked murmurs and scattered applause as the gravity of Harry's words began to sink in. Several players and team personnel in attendance looked visibly uncomfortable, while others seemed to nod in silent agreement. But the prince was not finished. With a steely glare, he turned his attention to the handful of guests who had already begun to make their way towards the exits, shaking his head in disgust. "And you," he said, his voice dripping with contempt. "You, who have the privilege of being here tonight to witness the pinnacle of our sport, and yet you can't even be bothered to stay and see it through. You'd rather abandon ship and miss the chance to honor these incredible athletes than to sit and listen to a few uncomfortable truths." The departing guests froze in their tracks, caught off guard by the prince's biting remarks. Some looked sheepish, while others appeared genuinely offended by his words. "Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you," Harry continued, his voice laced with sarcasm. "But this is not some stuffy royal event where you can simply nod off and wait for the music to stop. This is the NHL, and it deserves your full attention and respect." With that, the prince turned and strode off the stage, leaving the audience in stunned silence. The NHL Awards ceremony had taken an unexpected and dramatic turn, and the reverberations of Harry's words would be felt long after the night had come to a close. In the days and weeks that followed, the prince's outburst became the talk of the sports world, sparking heated debates and discussions about the state of the NHL and the broader challenges facing professional sports leagues. Some praised Harry for his candor and his willingness to call out the league's shortcomings, arguing that his critique was a much-needed wake-up call. "Prince Harry's words were harsh but true," said one sports commentator. "The NHL needs to innovate and engage with its fans if it wants to thrive." Others, however, accused him of overstepping his bounds and meddling in affairs that were none of his concern. Harry may mean well, But he doesn't understand the complexities of running a sports league, said another commentator. His outburst was uncalled for and disrespectful. Regardless of where one stands on the issue, there's no denying that Prince Harry's dramatic speech at the NHL Awards has left an indelible mark on the event and sparked a critical conversation about the future of the league. Whether it will lead to meaningful change remains to be seen. But one thing is clear. The Duke of Sussex has once again proven that he is not afraid to speak his mind, even if it means ruffling a few feathers along the way.